Board members, you have a copy of the agenda. Are there any changes that need to be made? If none, I need a motion that we approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Brenda, Tony, all in favor? It is approved. All right, next on the agenda, board discussion.
All right, anybody have anything to share, talk about, ask about? Molly got a minute?
Brenda, you don't have anything?
Well, I do have something I want to think about, but, well, I'll go ahead and say it. The back to school bash.
I was about to mention that.
Okay.
Good mention. There you
Okay,
go.
because we need supplies.
Yes.
And if you don't want to do supplies, we'll take donations. And it is tax deductible, so you can just write a check. That goes for y'all too, okay? Because, how many, Tara, 500 and what already?
We're up to 500, and I think I just told you the
Yeah.
number, and it's left my head, but it's like 580 something kids are registered for the bash
Yeah.
already, and we're 3 weeks out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
book bags are covered, but that's really all we can say that's completely covered though, isn't it, Tara?
Right.
What was the
yes.
biggest supply need right now?
Huh?
What was the biggest supply
We've
need?
not had any donations of expo markers, of like regular, like Crayola markers, fine tip markers. We've had glue sticks, God, there's something I think off the top of my head. Paper, like college rule paper, regular paper.
What about composition books?
What composition books, we have 600 that are promised right now.
Okay.
So,
Walmart has, well, they had some on sale. My wife found some for the 10-cent ones.
yeah.
Because she gets some for Operation
And they're
Christmas
saying
Child.
that the Dollar Generals right now too, there's a lot of school supplies for 10 cents and 50 cents.
Ooh.
So, I know we're getting, like Tony Patterson from State Farm sending in a donation, some money donation wise. Farm Bureau, sorry, Farm Bureau, sorry.
Whoever it is.
Yes, Farm Bureau. And then, I know like another organization sending in $100. So it's slowly coming. It's just, everybody's in a different financial time too. And so it's just a little bit different this year.
Can I ask something?
Sure.
And I'm speaking from a parent's point of view.
Yes.
How can we get the list sent out earlier? Because like y'all was talking here about all these sales,
Yes.
time we get the list for our kids,
School supplies are gone.
school supplies are gone.
A lot of them are posted already on the individual school sites. I haven't
Where they
updated the
go to
district
school.
page yet, because I still
Northwest.
have a couple I'm waiting for.
Facebook, I've seen some.
But a lot of them I've started sharing already. But I can reach out to them tomorrow and
Yeah.
have them send me
Yeah,
an
and it may be the same as all the
Yeah.
schools, like I
Try to
said.
get
I mean,
ones about
if
mid-July.
it's just like a general one, in the past, you know, like, I've seen this teacher want this and this teacher want that, and we try, you know, to do that. But, I'm sitting here thinking, they need to send these out a little earlier.
Well, we-
All the sales around here is based off the start of
Everybody
the
else, yeah.
schools.
Mhm, yeah.
And we told them to try to get it to like, hey, the kids really need this. It would be nice if they had this, and then these donations are nice. And we told them like those things that you need, try to keep that to very reasonable. Like because we don't need to have these massive supply lists.
Yeah.
We just need the basic things. And then if you've got extra and you want to donate some extra things, here's some great things to have. But to try to make it as easy on families as we can. And this is one way to take care of a good bit of them
Yeah,
that we did
took
last
care
year.
of
So.
526 kids last year.
So that's what I was about to ask, compared
Yeah,
to,
it was
I remember,
526 students last year that were served through the back to school.
what, we had about 300 register last year?
No, I don't think it was 300. We're
Yeah.
at like 287 registrations right now, but that's multiple kids per registration. And so, we're past what we were last year.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're.
Well,
easily
and I
on
think
the
last year, didn't a lot of kids just show up, didn't register?
They
did.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
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 That's what's gonna
I
happen.
think more, now that they're aware of it, I'm sure more registered this
Yeah.
year, but you're always gonna
And
have those that
who
show
just
up.
drive by and say, what's going on at that
Yeah.
high school gym?
But what it allows us to do is if we know, okay, we got 600 kids registered, we can kind of figure out what we're
Yeah.
gonna divvy up with everybody. Cause,
Yeah.
you know, if we get 1,000 notebooks or if we get 500, you just adjust what you give out. And then those that come at the end are the ones that,
Well,
but we
we're
still
so-
had a lot left over
Yeah,
last year.
we're so thankful to the community because none of
Yes.
it would be possible without our
Yeah.
community. And so I just want everyone to know, like, it wasn't if you weren't able to come, it
It's
truly is
wonderful.
an amazing thing to come and see. I mean, kids who hadn't been able to have a haircut all year, they're able to get haircuts and.
The shoes
Yeah,
tickle
Rockbridge
me.
is doing shoes. So there's a lot of churches, organizations, agencies that are stepping up to make sure kids, our families' needs are met.
So share out with any of your friends, any folks you know in the business community, church community, just let them know that is August.
August 9th,
No.
9 to 1 at Murray County High School.
And then if they want to do donations, just put them in touch with Tara, and she can definitely give them a heads up on what we need, so.
Yeah.
Excited about that. Yes, sir.
I've been reading in the newspaper, the Chattanooga paper, Hamilton County, starting this school year, K through 8, a cell phone can't even be seen in the school for the kids. And then, obviously instruction time for the high school kids. And I know we're doing something already in our schools, but next year, school year 26-27, the state of Georgia is putting out, governor's putting out, I know you probably don't know about it, but the same thing's coming to us, K through 8. We're not gonna even be able to have a phone at schools, my understanding. They can't, it's not to be seen,
Not to be seen, yes.
not to be seen. And then the high school is, so what are we doing now? I just wanna be updated on what we're doing now at the high school and middle school, because that's gonna be a big adjustment for those middle school kids.
Well,
Yeah.
our policy reads that the phones are supposed to be put up and put away, and so they shouldn't be seen. So technically, our policy would fit what the new law says.
Right.
During
Now,
instruction time.
during instruction time. Where it may differ school by school is non-instructional time or lunch or those kind of things. But ultimately, what we've talked about as a leadership group, what we talked about with the principals is any cell phone policy that we have is only as good as the enforcement that goes along with it. So we could have the greatest policy in the world, but if Tim, the teacher, says, hey, we got 10 minutes left, y'all get your phones out, then, it's kind of defeats the purpose. So one thing that we talked about leading into this year, I know y'all had some discussions with the APs, Mike. I didn't know if they had any thoughts about anything else with the cell phones when y'all talked.
They did, I mean, obviously it's problematic, and it comes down to enforcement. And they talked about the potential of, if a teacher is not enforcing the policy, perhaps, write them up.
Because it's what we have would be compliant with what the Governor Kemp's law stated. Is basically no cell phones out during instructional time. Now, some systems may go to where they lock them up in the yonder pouches and things like that. Some of them are like, hey, I don't want to see it all day until dismissal at the end of the day, when you might need to message your parent or something like that. But we talked last year about it's no different than an adult, trying to teach the kids how to be good stewards. Like, hey, when you're in class, put it in your book bag. You ain't running a business. You don't need anything right now. And then after school or practice or whatever else, you can do it. So, but like you said, it's enforcement. So that's the discussion we're having, is how to enforce the policy we have.
Yeah. Well, consistency is a big thing, I mean, because you don't want from classroom to classroom or from school to school to, so, and as long as the kids got their cell phone, that's gonna make the parents happy, being able to call if it's an emergency or something, so. But it is a big deterrent as far as, learning.
Oh, it is.
And behavior.
And behavior.
And
That's
behavior,
Yeah.
that's exactly right, so it's gonna help a whole lot.
Well, part of that's
Okay.
the adults too, and that's me, or whether it's the director or the teachers in the classroom. Like, if I'm gonna expect my kids to have my cell phone put away, I need to have my cell phone put away. I can't be out. That's part of the discussion too, is just that mindset and that culture. But the law, I do think, will give us some more teeth to what we're saying. And we can say, hey, listen, this is state law. Like, it's not just Murray County dreaming this up on their own. But we're hoping we can improve the enforcement of it this year. Anybody else have anything?
If there's nothing else, next on the agenda is quality workforce.
Then we've got our grading system, IHA, which is the second reading, I think, of it. And this is just putting our stuff in line with the state, kind of putting everything together the way it needs to be. And our handbooks will be consistent with this, so.
So this is what it is going to be?
Yes.
Okay.
The big thing was,
Yeah, yeah,
there it is.
okay.
The big thing was getting rid of the D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for athletics, that's consistent with what GHS
Just
has.
such a, yeah,
Yes.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And this came up as we were looking through our stuff, like the handbook would say one thing, the board policy would say one thing, campus was calculated, so this aligns everything the way it needs to be.
But I think it was affecting Hope and
It was GHSA and Hope, we want to make sure everything was kind of put together. This will help with the GPA side, because the D was of no help.
Yeah.
When you have a D that's in the 70s, it was just not putting you on par with everybody else.
where kids would get like 1 credit instead of 2 credits by what the state was saying versus us.
Yes, yes.
Anything else on that? All right, I need a motion that we go into executive session.
So moved.
Kelly,
Second.
Conrad, all in favor? We are in executive session. Might have executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Over. Tony, all in favor? For open session. Is there anything for open session?
Anything else from Ron? That's it.
If there's nothing, I need a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Brenda,
Second.
was that Kelly?
Sheila.
Sheila, I'm sorry. Sheila, all in favor? We are adjourned. All right, let's call the Murray County Board of Education meeting to order. Board members, you have a copy of the agenda. Are there any changes that need to be made? If none, I need a motion that we approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Kelly, and all in favor? The agenda is approved. If you will, please stand up. Brenda's going to lead us in the pledge and inspiration.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. God, I just want to thank you for this day that you've given to us. And Lord, for this opportunity to come and to make decisions that will affect our children and our teachers. Lord, I just pray that we'll always have wisdom. Lord, I pray for safety for all those that are involved in our school system as we travel and do things. Just bring us all back safe. Lord, just be with us as we start the new year, and Lord, just take care of all of us. In your name I pray. Amen.
All right, next on the agenda is consent items. You have a copy of the minutes. Are there any changes that need to be made? If none, I need a motion that we approve the minutes.
Make a motion.
Tony,
Second.
Conrad, all in favor? It is approved. Next on the agenda, public participation.
I think we got one, Miss Eaton.
Yeah. Kelly's.
Okay. I am going to read just a statement to you, and then if you want to, you can come on up here and stand. Speakers will be given 5 minutes to speak before the board, with the time per speaker being determined by the chairman, depending on the number of speakers and the topics listed. If a group of individuals wish to address the board or a common issue, those individuals should select one person to be their spokesman. The spokesperson should identify the group and then address the board and the representative of the group. The speaker shall state his or her name, all remarks made to the board as a body and not to a particular board member. No person shall be allowed to make obscene, derogatory, or slanderous remarks while addressing the board. No person should be allowed to disrupt or interfere with the procedures. Remarks shall end when the speaker's allotted time has expired. Questions from the board members or the superintendent may be asked for clarification. However, no person shall be permitted to enter any discussion with the board or any member of the board. So you can go ahead.
Okay, my name's Shauna Eaton, and I'm just here to ask for permission for my son to be allowed to transfer from Murray to North Murray.
Okay.
All right, and I've given them the information you shared with me, and so they've got all that. I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Eaton.
Next on the agenda is superintendent report.
All right, so we'll start off with the financial stuff, and you guys are welcome, from public participation, you're welcome to hang out if you want to, or we'll contact you and let you know.
Yeah, she said that's all right.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot you were going out. If you want to stay and hang out with me, you're welcome to, but if you want to head to, I can contact you and let you know, or Mike will reach out to you.
Thank you.
Or you're welcome. All right, finance.
Okay, so I didn't have it on my computer tonight. I wasn't quite prepared, wasn't I? But we'll go over these real quick. We're talking first about our SPOS deposit for June. So that came in, if you're looking at your report there, it came in at $566,000 roughly, somewhere around in there, which is an increase of around $29,000 from this time last year. It exceeded what we collected in June of '23, which was only around $466,000, but it was a little shy of what we collected in '22 at that $784,000. On your report, you can see I still have December, January, February, and March of '26 greened out, which is when we anticipate that this SPOS will meet its maximum. What we really would like to see, if it would go on down and hit April of '26, then we can collect April, May, and June. We want to make this SPOS go as long as we can and collect as much as we can, and as long as we hit within a quarter, we can collect the rest of that quarter. So let's hold out for April. That's what we want it to do, of '26.
So if it slows down, we're okay with
It
it.
slows down, it's fine.
We're okay with it. It's
So
not, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, go out and buy all those supplies, but anyway, any questions on that? All right, I'm gonna go through the financials. You know, what we're looking at right now is for May. We've closed the month of May, and then we're gonna talk about where we are currently. So what you're looking at first is the revenues for May. This is as of May 31st. The actual revenues collected was around 65 million, which was around 85%. If you turn the page, you'll see the expenditures as of the actuals as of the end of May when we closed were around 63 million. So when you, obviously when you collect more revenues than you have expenses, you have a surplus, which is showing around a $2.3 million surplus. That's not where we're at, but that's where we were at the end of May, okay? Let's flip on over to the next page. The next page is just a balance sheet that kind of compares this time to this time last year, except with the fact that this now has the accruals figured in these numbers. So you can see where we're around 18 million on our balance sheet, where we were around 20 million this time last year. The difference of that is cash, which we've talked about cash flow. We know that that is our issue, our limitation that we're trying to work through. But we, if you can also see down there, one of the things that should stand out to you is that last year we had around 622,000 in POs that were still encumbered and open, and this year we only had around 132. Of course, we're way past May now, so all those POs, we've cleared up all of our POs. We had to carry a couple over into July, but we've done real well on closing POs that were open. The next report just shows you a breakdown of the revenues as of the end of May, and then we added those accruals in it, so it has your QBE money in there. So we're saying that with the actual plus the accrual, we would collect around 73 million, which is 95% of the budget. And if you compare that to this time last year, it was 95% of the budget. So that lets you know that spending is, the same as, our collections are trending the same as they were this time last year. The next page, and I know I'm going fast, just stop me if you want to ask me a question, but the next page just shows you the same on expenditures. We have the actual expenditures of May. We added those accruals in there for July and August, so that increases the expenditures to 71 million, which is 92%. And we were around 95% of expenditures this time last year. So expenditures are less than they were trending May of '24. So if you flip the last page, you'll see what does that mean. That took that $2 million surplus and it brought it down to around $1 million, okay, as of the end of May. Again, that's not where we're at right now. We're going to talk about that because that to me is that's what we're here to discuss, where we are right now. So flip over to your last page. You should have, do you have this page in there? Okay. It's the actuals. That's when I before you get your packet, I try to run this report that shows you the revenues as of that day. So if you look at the revenues as of, I think this was June, I can't remember the day, but anyway, the day before maybe you got your packet, 77 million of revenues compared to 78 million of expenditures. Now, what happened, we went from a surplus, right, to now we're in a deficit of about $1.1 million. What happened was that we went ahead and we posted those accruals we've been talking about. until now, they've just been part of our reports, but we went in there and we posted July accruals and we posted August accruals, and then we also posted that revenue. So that created that deficit. That's what we were showing after those July and August payrolls had been included. And what you do with an accrual is that you take May payroll and you say, okay, I'm going to duplicate that 2 more times. You know, I'm going to duplicate it for July and August. And then when July payroll is run, you bring in the actual payroll and you reverse out what you put in there as an accrual. You do the same thing with August. You bring in the August payroll after it's run and you reverse out that accrual, because things can happen in July and August that aren't in our financials. So it brings in the actual numbers, okay? But this is actually taking your payroll and your benefits and duplicating it to see where would we be. So everything that we look at from this point forward is going to have those payrolls included in it, okay? So I did it again today. I ran today, and we were at where this has got a $1.1 million, like $1,194 million deficit. We're down to $1,121,000 deficit. And then I actually went in there and looked at the revenues that we've received for July, because we get to count July and August tax deposits in this number, in this FY25 budget. You get to count 2 months of tax deposits, and you get to count 1 month the TAVT income. So I went in there and looked at those numbers, ran it again. So right now the deficit is less than $1 million. So as those deposits continue to come in, that deficit should continue to go down, because our expenditures, we've just about got all of our expenditures in there other than those actual payments. So what was a $1.5 million deficit that we started with for the actual budget, remember that was the budget we passed in 25, about 1.5, could end up being less than $1 million, which is a savings of about $559,000. So hopefully we'll continue to go down as those revenues come in. But it is looking, the financials look very promising for 25 to come in less than what was anticipated.
And we did that budget last year, like I said, 1.559 was the deficit when we passed it, not a couple months ago, but last year. And once we started the year, Kathy and I were looking at payroll and we're like, oh shoot, because there were just some things in there that, because of the budget season the way it went last year. But we've had a good year, and if we were to go from 1.5 down to under $1 million, that's going to help us as we go forward with our fund balance and with all those things. So we've been really pleased, and we'll see, revenues continue going up, and then we'll talking about this for FY25, and then we're going to be talking about revenues for FY26, coming up pretty soon when we start talking about tax digests and all that. So that's coming probably in the next month or so. But that's great news.
Yeah, we'll be talking about FY25 for July, August, September, and really in October is when we start talking about the financials for FY26, because it takes that long for us to finish out the fiscal year. So, but that's to the credit of everybody in this room. Everybody has bought into the fact that we're not a money tree and that we have to cut back. And I want to give credit to everybody that has helped bring that deficit down. It's been great to see everybody working together to help bring the deficit down, because what we're trying to do, we're trying to save positions, we're trying to help instruction. We're all working for the same goal, and I think everybody understands it now, and everybody's working to do that. And that's to the credit of the directors, the principals, everybody involved, even Chris and Randall. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody, and it makes it easier to stand up here and talk about that. But it's not just Tim, and it's not just finance. It's everybody working together.
Everybody.
Okay. So we are going to talk about now. Got any questions on FY25? It's looking great. We'll keep talking about it every month until we get it finished. Now we're gonna switch over to July purchase orders, which looks like a lot, but remember, this is a lot of things that have to be done at the beginning of the year. July is always gonna be heavy on purchase orders. So this is FY '26 purchases. So these purchases were included in the budget, and we'll talk about those. Those very first three are teaching and learning. So when we're talking about admin, HMH, and BBB, educational, we're talking about the curriculum that was up there in our 1,000 function for instruction. It was digital curriculum, it's instructional curriculum, professional development is in there. So all three of those that you're looking at are those software or digital licenses or professional development that associates with curriculum.
That second one, the HMH elementary curriculum, that's Amira. Kelly's going to talk about the Amira program when she does her presentation. That's going to be a big part of our reading things this year. Really excited about it. But that's essentially replacing iReady. So iReady was, iReady Reading, excuse me. Ready Reading was $160,000. So we're doing Amira, one, because it's going to create more time for our teachers. This is much less time intensive than Ready Reading was. And then also, we like the one-on-one capacity that it's going to have. We'll also have some headphones coming next month, because to use Amira, you got to have some microphones and headphones. So when you see a PEO for that next month, they kind of go hand in glove. But super excited about that one.
And we put that in the budget as well.
Yes, we have those all budgeted.
That's in there as well. So those first three are for curriculum and that development. The next one is for tech department. The K-12 solution is actually our portion of E-rate. So we don't have to pay the full expense of having the network. We get I don't know how you want to, subsidy? Is that what you want to call it?
Yes, so, it's our 10% of when we overhauled all the wireless and all the internet service we get throughout the system.
So, I mean, it's a very expensive, it's very expensive, so the 82,000 is a
It's
deal.
really 830.
Yeah, it's a
essentially.
deal. So that is our portion, and that was also in the budget, and I think we had actually budgeted around 108. But it seems like we might get another portion.
There'll be another like 20-something thousand. These are for 2 different years. This is for one that we're doing tonight is for the 24-25 year. The other one will be for 25-26
Yeah,
year.
so
We're
there's
doing
a,
2 in 1 year because they're kind of behind sometimes. But a lot of that stuff's changing in E-rate right now, so there's a lot of unknowns. And they thought that was going to go away completely, but that just got decided that we are keeping it, but there's going to be a lot of changes to it though.
so there's 108 budgeted for it, so this 82 is the first portion of that. So, the next three are for nutrition, school nutrition, that's coming out of their school nutrition budget. The first one is a equipment for Murray County High School. I think that's a heated cabinet. The second part, the 20,000, is for uniforms and shoes.
Have we always done that?
I think so.
Uniforms, yes.
Yes.
And shoes, we've always done.
Yes. Safety shoes, yes.
Yeah, you have to have non-slip. And if you don't buy them, they won't buy them.
I
Right?
just don't remember it,
Yeah.
but
And then the last part of it, I'm assuming, is the point of sale software.
Yes, our licensure.
Yeah, so you have to, it's just like E-Trade, just like everything else, once you buy it, you gotta pay every year to keep it. So the 34,000, the 20,000, and the 25,000 are all in the school nutrition budget, not coming out of our local budget. The first four there are in the FY '26 budget, and they're coming out of our budget. That was fast. So, any questions?
I have a quick question. If, we keep sending, all the different, POs each month, is somewhere there like a total, like how much tech used, how much they've spent, how much the different department has spent? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not that we track, because you have to, from our perspective, we've approved, or you've approved a $90 million budget.
Right.
So if it's within that money, you've already approved that purchase.
Well, you just said something about, that made me think that somewhere there's that says this is the total that Tech has spent this year. This is the total that,
Well, when when you see that line item budget that we talk about during the budget, it has out there the total expense, and those purchase orders are included in that department's expense. For example, if we buy equipment for Chris, it's in his 2,600 function. If we buy something for Randall, it's in 2,700. If it's for Tech, it's in 2,800. So you see their total expenditures at the end of the year. We don't necessarily track and say, this is how much teaching and learning is spent, this is how much.
or you don't ever say you've went over your money.
No.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes and no. Let me kind of, we do track it by function, because we keep that sheet, that same budget sheet that we give you, I keep on my desk. Kathy updates, and so I can look and say, okay, we budgeted Chris, $500,000 in this line. So far this year, he's spent $300,000. But sometimes those things go in between the lines, so that's why the function up at the top is the one that matters. We don't usually present that here. That's something we keep for internal control. And when she passes, when they send on POs, it'll say included in the budget, included in the budget. So we'll kind of know if something is having to be purchased that's not included in the budget. That's where we're like, hey, what's this? Are we getting this, or is something else coming out?
Yeah.
So we do kind of
That's
track
kinda
it that
what I
way.
was
Yeah,
asking.
but
Yeah.
we don't have that in these financials, but we do kind of keep that internally.
And a lot of times too, Brenda, is like, I try not to get them hung up on how much money they have in a line item, because then it becomes obsessive to them. Because if you need something, you need it.
Right.
And for example, next month I'm gonna be bringing you the FY25 budget amendment, because we have functions that went over and I have to get them back in the black. Every line item you can have line items in your budget that go in the red, and you don't have to do anything about it, because like I said, you approve a total amount of money, and as long as we stay under that, then we don't have to come back and say we need more money. But if the total function, if the whole department's money went in the red, then I have to come back and I have to take that money from another function and put it in the black, because the state of Georgia requires that.
Right.
But line items, we don't do, and so I try not to get obsessive about line items, because I know that if you've approved that department to have $3 million, it doesn't matter to me how they spend that money. Because a portion of it is for payroll and benefits. They can't even touch it. The bottom portion of that, below the line, they can spend that money how they need to. And I don't want them to say, oh, I only had $5,000. Now I can't buy anything. Well, that's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I try to teach them that you have this much money, and how you need to spend it is how I want you to spend it, because a lot of times we say how much money we're going to put in that line item. Chris may say, I need $800,000 in building and repair, and we say, well, we're not going to give you that much.
I got a question about the PO software. This software don't track it based off of the function number. Right here, you got your general ledger account number. Is your tracking, say everything under Chris starts out, anything he buys, it's gonna start out with the same numbering system, like 25.
Yes, so
Would the software not run a report for that?
if you'll remember on the budget, we put all of the software in one line item.
Yeah.
We put it all down there in Tech, and it was gonna make their budget look huge. But we took all of the software from all the departments and we said, we're gonna put it down here in this one line item. That way we can track it. We can run a report on that one line item, and we can see exactly what the software that was bought from, and make sure that that it was bought and paid for and what that expense was. What's different about this is curriculum. So this was put up there in your 1,000 function
Well,
for
that's what I'm saying,
instruction.
though. You could run it by the department based off what numbers are under that department. Because Chris is not gonna be buying educational stuff. You see
Yeah.
what I'm getting at?
Chris has a function 2,600, and everything for maintenance is paid from that.
Okay.
Yeah, and she can run a
Randall.
report and it
Yeah.
prints
The
out.
software should track
It
it.
does.
Okay.
So-
It does.
The software is in function 2800, and it's gonna stay
When I say
there.
software, I mean the PO software.
It's just the ability for you to go into PC Genesis and say, hey, give me all of 2600.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, yes. As bad as PC Genesis is, it will track.
Oh, I hate the PO software.
It's slow, but it
It'll do it, you know. So, yes, I mean, we're not just out there, have no idea what's going on. You know, we can track and stuff, and we can give you any reports that you want broke down by those functions anytime you want to see them. But what I try to tell them is that if they've been given a budget, then they can rearrange in that budget however they
Okay,
need
you
to.
got to.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because they see you and it goes out, they see you and it goes out.
right.
that's it. That's it.
Right, so I don't want them to get hung up on that's all the money they have. Okay? All right, thank you.
I'm gonna go ahead and approve these.
Okay.
I need a motion that we approve the 2022 SPOS outline.
So moved.
Second.
Kelly, Tony, all in favor? It is approved. I need a motion that we approve the financial statement as presented.
So moved. Second.
Brenda, Hunter, all in favor? It is approved. Next, I need a motion that we approve the purchase orders as presented.
So moved.
Brenda,
Second.
Tony, all in favor? They are approved. Next is student achievement.
Yes, and so Kelly's gonna get set up and do a little iReady update. You have the remote over there will help her get set up.
I will be projecting the presentation, but I'll also have handouts for you guys, so you can follow along with me. So let me get this. Tim, you wanna pass?
Yeah, I'll pass those out. I think it goes on the 4, HDMI 4.
Yes, I did figure that out earlier today.
Yeah, you certainly, yeah, whatever you want. Those are on out there. We can flip them on.
Them on.
Two-step verification.
Means you gotta dance. You gotta do a 2-step up there if you do that.
I forgot where I went. I was paying attention over here.
Guys, will give me just a minute. Okay.
Hey, you need to invest in the printer.
You got the money, Tom. You got the money.
It's not in the budget, sorry.
Thank you guys for giving us just a few minutes. Dr. Wright, you jump in at any time,
No,
please.
okay.
Jenny is at Gale, Summer Gale, so to share the middle school data with you, but I included that information for you guys tonight. The presentation that I'm going to share is put together for us by our iReady vendor, Debbie. She's presented to you guys before. And the data came in last week. I've shared it with principals. And so I hope they've had a chance. They may not have had a chance to see it, but I hope they have. You guys have it in your email, okay? So I wanted to share the information with you guys tonight, looking at how we ended the year, okay? We're looking at year-end data, so you'll know. For our new board members, I'm going to go just a little bit of background information for you, so you'll know exactly where we are with this data. A couple of big things, though. This is our first year for our new reading curriculum. Okay, we're in year 1. We finished that out. Where you saw in that purchase order, that BB Enterprises, or that is our vendor. Okay, and so Benchmark Advance is our curriculum. Just finished year 1. Ready Math curriculum, we're ending our 4th year with them. So when you look at the data, you'll see, just keep in mind, this is our first year with our reading, our vendor, and our 4th year with our math. iReady, this is also our 4th year with iReady. So we've been looking at data 4 years now. The thing to remember on this one that's different from Milestones is iReady is skills-based. okay? It's not standards-based. So you're not looking at the same type of data that you did. I think, Dr. Wright, you shared some of that with them already. So it's very individual, okay? It's very individualized. Where is Kelly in terms of her skills, not how is Kelly doing on fourth grade standards, okay? So that's different when you look at that. And then when you look at this data tonight, I want you to look at two different groups, okay? First thing is I want you to think about what's happening with our students in the green, okay? Colors are really important, and I'm going to talk to you about what those mean. But when you think about students who are showing up in the green sections on your data, you have two colors of green on your report. You have a dark green and a light green section. Your dark green colors represent students who are at or above grade level on their skills, okay? So for instance, Renda has skills that are at or above the grade level that she is in. She would be considered in that green category. So dark green and light green are early on grade level, okay? Yellow students are designated as 1 year below grade level. Our light red students are considered 2 years below, and our dark red students are 3 or more years below, okay? So when you look at the data, I want you to think about what's happening in the green, because that really talks to us about what's happening with our students who are at or above grade level with their skills, and then what's happening with our red, because the red students are going to let you know how our interventions are working, okay? Are we closing gaps for students who are below grade level? And that's just as important to look at, okay? So what's happening with our students at grade level, and then are we doing a really good job with our students who are below grade level, okay? All right, the next thing when you look at this is to understand the different groups of students that are represented. So when you look at this, you'll see one column that gives us the national norms. This already was renormed in 22-23, which basically means a large group of students took this assessment and how did they do during this period of time, okay? And then you'll also have information about how all students across the nation that took iReady in 24-25, how did they do against how did our students in Georgia do against how did our students in Murray County do. So you'll have 4 different groups of information to look at, okay? So the first one that you're looking at is math. How did we do in math? And this is broken down. I'm going to pull this up a little bit for you so you can see it. You have this as well. So when you're looking at this, if you look at the very bottom where you have your colors at the bottom, okay? You've got your dark green, your light green, your yellow, your light red, and your red, okay? And then the 4 columns under each grade level. You guys see that first column is the national norm. The next column is the national year-to-date. So if you'll notice, there was 1.1 million students across the nation that took iReady in the spring. Georgia's student group is about 49,000. You guys see that? And then for the district kindergarten, we had 417. So what you can do is you can see, now remember, green and green stripe, right? Our kindergartners rocking, you guys, rocking it out. What we typically do, and Dr. Wright will tell you, is we group those green and dark green kids together, right? We know that at the end of the year, a student who's early on grade level isn't quite where they need to be yet for end of the year, but when you're looking at those 2 student groups, and then our yellow students 1 year below. So you can see that across the grade levels. In kindergarten, we're what, 86% green, and this is in math, green and dark green, light green. You see our first graders, you see our second graders, but also remember the 2 things I asked you to look at, your greens and your reds. Because what the red represents is gaps. Are we actually catching up our students?
So there's no red in kindergarten?
Well, it's because you can't be,
Yeah.
kindergarten, you can't be more than 1 year behind, is how they'll look at it, because they're young.
Really?
That's it.
So there were.
Well, it's new.
I know.
I'm gonna get one
In
of
terms
them.
of, yeah, in terms of,
Is this just Spring Place School?
no, this is everybody. This is all our students.
It's just spring placement.
Yeah, it's spring, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Tony. Yeah, it's all our students in the spring, how they ended the year, okay?
I misread that, my bad.
Okay, so, and Renda, to your point though, if you'll look at first grade.
Yeah, I saw them.
that's fantastic. Because for you guys who are new to the board, we have struggled with first grade, right? Because they're ending strong. Conrad, you'll know, they're ending really strong at the end of kindergarten. And they seem to just struggle by the end of first grade. And first grade is so critical. If we don't get it right in first grade, it's just a challenge. But to see that end of the year in first grade is fantastic. And so we're just really tickled about that. Second grade, again, if you'll notice, second grade in the red, the state's about 13% and we're at 7%. So we are closing the gap. You can't, there's always the discussion, Barbie and I used to have this discussion, achievement is so important, but closing the gap is as well. You've got to be able to run faster than everybody else to make it up. So that's really encouraging. I didn't want you to miss what's happening on both ends of that, okay? So that's K1 and 2 in math. And then you have 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I'll give you guys just a minute to look at that if you have any questions.
And this kind of speaks to our discussion we had about milestones, when we talked about that 3rd, 4th, 5th area. Like with our red, like we're doing a pretty good job there. We've got to get some of those yellow kids up into the green. And so it's this, I told you, it kind of showed up on milestones as it did on iReady. So that's one of the things we're focusing on this year, is that 3rd, 4th, 5th grade band of kids.
Exactly. The stronger our first graders are, would be to attract that cohort, right? And the more that we're able to get students up to grade level. But we have a lot of students who are just right there that we really need to think about how to get them on grade level. Any questions or comments about 3rd, 4th, and 5th? Okay. 6, 7, and 8 is really the same.
So higher in the green, lower in the red, which is what we want to see.
Yeah.
So doing some good things with the math there. And Ready Math is our math curriculum.
Correct.
So like it matches it goes along with what we're doing there. The reading is a little different because we don't use Ready Reading as the full
Correct.
curriculum. But siding with 6th grade, or excuse me, middle school results there, comparatively speaking.
But I just get really encouraged to see our students start to catch up, especially at a rate faster than the state of Georgia.
Yeah. Well, in the 5th grade, I went back to look, because the 5th grade kids are your COVID kids.
That's right.
So I remember when we started this, that's who we tracked, that was our cohort.
That's right.
That was our kindergarten COVID kids.
Yeah.
And they're not that, I mean,
Kelly, I'm glad you mentioned that. You guys might want to write that down somewhere.
They're not struggling
as
as-
That red is a lot less
Less
than
than
5th
what
grade.
it-
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just getting those yellows to green
Yeah.
right now.
the 5th grade
Yeah.
with their COVID
That's
kids.
that was interesting.
Yeah, that's our COVID grade.
What I always like to see is last year's kindergarten, where are they now? That's what I like to see, is, we were in a meeting one time, and they did like every 3rd grade class for like the past week, but it wasn't the same kids. You were tracking a whole different set of
I can
apples.
get that for you, Brenda.
And that's what I like to
cohort
see.
and
Yeah,
see
see
how they're
how
doing.
that group is
And I tell you,
going.
if you still have it, the presentation that I gave at the beginning of this year had these exact same graphs from last year. And so if you still have it, you could take this home and you could put that one on the left side, this one on the right side, and you could look.
I can do
table
it
them.
for you.
And we had it.
I can pull
dig
it up for you and get it.
There was a hard copy somewhere.
Yeah, I'll send it to Tim and he can send it out.
Well, that's
because it
just
is
what I
really-
like.
Oh, I think it's
I've
very
got it,
important
yeah.
to watch
Yeah.
that group progress over time.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so that's math. Any other questions on math? 6, 7, and 8? Okay. So reading, same information, same organization of the information. They are. We've got outstanding kindergarten teachers, very strong program. Across the board, we really do, you know.
And you can even see that drop, like we talk about that K-1 drop, that change. Really, in K, you're either on grade level or you're not. You know, in 1st grade is when you start getting layers to it, so you see it nationally. If you look at Georgia, the national things, they all have that big gap. And 2, just because it gets harder. You know, 1st grade's tougher, and so like, the drop is natural. Our thing is how can we kind of curb it to where we're not having that many kids go. And so it's good to see those numbers there, that we're ahead. We start to see it in second grade, as you can see. But even with the red doing well, it's those yellows
Right,
to
it's
greens
the
in
yellows.
second grade.
It's just pushing them over the finish line.
Yep.
You know? Okay, that's K1 and 2. Third, fourth, and fifth.
And the same discussion there we were having about our milestones thing, particularly fourth grade. You know, that's the one that kind of stood out, as we talked about there too, so you see it.
I do always appreciate the way they put our information together, because I know the question that comes from you guys, the questions that come from us, how are we doing against students in our state? I mean, I think it's really important on that national scale, but more so, how are we doing against other students in the state of Georgia as a school system?
And it's a good number to compare too, when you're talking
Yeah.
about 50,000 kids.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and it's very easy to see where we need to work. Right? And then with 6, 7, and 8 for reading, it's where we finish the year.
And you'll notice just that number drop down there. I think you just get less people using iReady as they get into 6, 7, and 8, but it's still a good number. You're still talking about 29,000 kids. So it's very.
Across the state.
It's reliable.
Any questions on 6, 7, 8? Please ask it if you do. Okay, so now let's talk about growth, okay? Now, when the data that you just looked at included all students, okay? Growth data is represented by the median student. You guys will remember that, okay? So it's that middle kid. How did the one, if you lined them all up, how did the one in the middle do? And what that's gonna tell you is that half of them are gonna do better than that. But then the other half are going to not do as well as that middle child. So the median is going to be represented in the graphs that we're going to look at, okay? So this is how we finished. The median student finished in reading. Okay? So you have those 4 performance quadrants: low performance and low growth, low performance, high growth, high performance, high growth, and high performance, low growth. And you can see how the grade levels. The exciting thing is first grade, because again, that's the group that has finished so strong in kindergarten, but we need them to finish strong in first grade, because that's going to carry them all the way through. And that was really exciting to see them in that high performance, high growth quadrant.
And we want to see them above the midline and
Yeah.
then moving to the right. And so we've got not everybody at or above the midline, which is good there. We got to keep moving them to the right. This is reading we're looking at.
And of course, you know, we know that we've got some concerns in fourth grade that we'll really get together with the principals.
What do you think's contributed to that, like fourth grade, like, so?
I think you get into full content where they're moving classes.
Moving classes,
It's a
yeah.
change for them. But I think once you get the right people in the right positions in those as far as teaching those classes, I think you make sure they've got the skills they need coming into those classes where they're strong enough in third grade to come up. I think it comes up. And plus, I think fourth grade is just hard. That's probably, they would typically say that's your, third and fourth grade would probably be two, they would say your most difficult years. Because it's a transition from that primary to the more advanced things there. But you know what? Everybody else is doing the same thing. So like, we just gotta do better. You know, I mean, ultimately, that's our job, you know, is to do better with our instruction, to get them better prepared going into fourth grade, and then to instruct them better in fourth grade.
Okay, so that's the growth for reading. And then here's our math. So remember, 50% of the students did better than this.
Yeah.
When you look at the growth.
Yeah.
But again, it's exciting to see first grade. We've always had lots of discussion about first grade finishing strong.
Kindergarten's blowing it out.
Yes, they are. All right, any questions on that? Okay, so just some takeaways, just some things that will let you know what we are looking at for the fall. So we will definitely continue to support our reading curriculum in year 2. Our focus for year 2 is writing and small group instruction. We're gonna continue our PL for our administrators, our instructional coaches, and teachers. Part of that you guys approved tonight. We get a really good support system. School-based site support for our schools. All of our schools will get 2 site support days this next year, one in the fall and one in the winter for reading. The principals have the ability to tailor that to whatever they want it to be. So let's say Ms. Rich decides that she wants 2 days hunkered down in 4th grade. She has the ability to determine what that's going to look like, as do all of our other elementary principals, that they can design those 2 days specifically to meet their needs. We know 4th and 5th grade specific, we need to get back together when we all come back to school during pre-planning and think about what we need to do specifically for 4th and 5th grade in reading and math. Some of that may be adding some more support for those 2 grade levels, but we will definitely come together as a team and look at that. The next bullet's important to know, we have new ELA standards this next year, okay? So 25-26, we're rolling in a new set of standards. We've been training on them off and on throughout the school year. We'll be picking that right back up. But what that will mean is that your ELA milestones data will lag. You will not have that until the fall. So typically our test results come back in late spring, but there'll be a lag in ELA, okay? And that's just because of the new standards. Our partnership with math, we'll continue that PL, and we've got a really good plan in place for those. And then our data, it indicates that reduction in our students scoring below grade level. So that small group instruction is really going to shift to helping students at Tier 1. How do we provide support for the student who's not mastering the grade level standard but isn't in intervention? We want to make sure that there's a way to make sure that we address those students as well.
Part of it's the mindset with small group. Small group doesn't mean these kids are behind. Small group may just mean I'm reteaching Tier 1
I just
instruction
need a little
that
more.
needs to be done again.
Correct. Yeah, so 25 is the year of the small group for us. Okay.
When you said this, the 2 day, two days of the thing.
Yeah.
Is that just for 4th and 5th grade?
It
Or
may be
just
something that they
focusing
would
on them?
like.
Okay, so not necessarily, but a principal can decide what
Yes, ma'am.
deal they have, okay.
Yes, they can tailor that. They
Okay.
can come in and do observations, they can do modeling,
Okay.
they can work with specific grade levels,
It's just 2
departments.
days.
It's 2 days. They get one in the fall and one in the winter, along with all of the other PL throughout the course of the school year. But that one is just really site specific. All right, so a couple of changes, 25-26, like I said, the new standards. And then we have a new screener, and that's a Mira. I wanted to share a little bit about this new screener. First of all, one of the reasons that we decided to change is because it's free. It is being provided by the state for K through 3. It's part of the requirement to screen for reading disabilities and dyslexia, and we're required to screen. And so we could have stayed with iReady. We would have had to pay for that, but there were a lot of other things that just leaned heavily into the we need to change our new screener.
Is this what's taking away already all?
For the ready
For
readers.
reading.
We won't do
Yeah,
that
just
diagnostic
reading.
anymore. So like that'll be the last time you see the iReady for reading. We'll
You'll still
continue
set
that
for
now.
math. and
Correct.
yes, okay.
Yeah.
But
We'll
what we
do-
did was we paid to keep it in 4-5, so we'll have consistency from K to 5. But the state funded part of it as part of the literacy initiative. And so we're excited about the change, but it'll be a different year next year because we won't have it to compare it to the year before. Because of the ready reading will be gone.
But we do think it's a better option for us on a lot of
Yes.
different, I think the principals would agree that Amira is going to be a much better option for us moving forward. We are required to screen for reading deficiencies and for dyslexia. We're required to screen every year for those 2 things. And Amira will do that for us.
This is a computer test, it's nothing like the teacher's gonna sit there and.
Correct.
That's one of the big changes for us, Brenda, is because with iReady, a portion of it was computer-based. But the other screeners that had to do with our dyslexia piece and some of our literacy tasks was a one-on-one administration. And so I would have to sit down with all 30 or all 80 of my students. We didn't bring in retired teachers to do this work. Each of the classroom teachers screened every single child. and it was multiple times throughout the school year.
Yep, and that means they're not teaching.
Exactly. And so what we did, it was a way to sort of claw back some instructional time. It also has ongoing progress monitoring and individualized tutoring, which is really neat because it also offers speech interventions in real time. So it has that AI component where it listens and picks up speech patterns and speech imperfections, and it pops right up and offers real-time support for kids. So we're really
Okay, since
excited
you
about it.
mentioned speech, can that be like a, sort of like, so they could use that as a referral for speech?
Well, it's going to address it without a referral. So
Okay.
it's learning
It's
that
going to do it
speech.
instead of going through.
And they're still going to speech.
Right, it's not
Okay.
gonna
But
replace
it's
their
an extra layer
speech,
of that.
it's an
just
extra.
picking them out, but quicker.
Correct.
It's essentially, you'll sit down and read with this little cartoon.
Yeah.
And she'll have a story for you and talk to you, you listen, you read it, it hears your voice, it analyzes it,
Yeah.
corrects. It's like having a reading tutor, but a teacher can't sit with, 22 kids in a classroom, but during their independent time or whatever, they get on the computer for 15 minutes and do this with them.
Does it have the ability, like, parent log in at home, let kids do it?
Yes,
Yes.
and that's one of the things that's really exciting as well, Tony, is that with iReady and the individualized pathway, there was a max time, right? So let's just say 30 minutes, you sort of hit the peak, and anything over that, you just started to lose the effectiveness of it. Plus, it was intended to be done with teacher support. Amira is all individual, and they can even do it at home. There isn't a max return. So during the summer, they can work on the Amira, they can work during center time. They don't have to have a one-to-one teacher because the teacher's built in. And so we're just really, it's just AI, the advancements of technology to really help
Teacher,
support,
trust me.
So we're really excited about that. Then the other thing that's exciting is evaluating progress and growth against grade level expectations. So with iReady, you knew they were behind, but how close or how far away to grade level were they? Amira fixes that for us, and I'm going to show you what that's going to look like. It's just so much more efficient. Less time. Now, the interesting thing, and we've talked about it, a teacher learns a lot about a student by sitting beside them. That one-on-one interaction is so important. But Amira records everything. So the teacher can actually go back in and hear the actual reading that the student did, plus you can play it for a parent. When you sit down with a parent meeting and you can say, let me let you hear how your student was reading a month ago. And you can play that recording. And then now let you hear how they're reading now.
Or how he was goofing off.
It's a
As the
very
case
powerful
may be.
tool.
But
As the case may be,
Yes.
sometimes.
But it's also gonna give us a lot more instructional time. When you look at
That's
how
the
much
big
time
thing.
we were spending assessing, it was just not sustainable. So what I have given you guys is a copy at the very back of what a parent report for Amira is gonna look like. And I think you'll really like this.
Ooh, a new acronym.
I know.
Yay!
Yeah, the ARM score. If you guys, every student will receive an ARM score, and it is on grade level expectation, okay? So this particular student has an ARM score of 1.42, which means they are reading at the first grade level, 4th month of school, okay?
Okay, is this like a first grade student supposedly, or?
It's
just
not,
take
it's just
X
how
and-
that student's
Okay.
reading. So, for instance, if I'm a kindergartner and have an ARM score of 1.4, you're doing really good, right? If I'm a 5th grader with an ARM score of 1.4, you know how far behind I am. And a parent's gonna understand that. They're going to want to know, how close is my child to grade level? And this is gonna let them know it's clear, okay? So that ARM score is gonna be very important. The next thing that's really important is the graph, okay? So if you'll notice, every little upside down triangle is when the student was on Amira doing some type of instructional support, and it graphs them every time. So a parent's going to understand, my student's in the red, they're in that yellow band, or they're up there in the green. It's very parent friendly. Green means they're ahead, yellow is on track, and red means they need to catch up. Okay, so every single time. And the report's interactive, so you can go in and hear every single time they read. Okay. And then it also gives you a breakdown in terms of the skills. So for instance, this particular student in decoding, they are on track. Phonological awareness, on track. High frequency words, on track. You know exactly what skills they are strong in and the areas of concern. Then the other thing it does is it gives them tips for home and how to help.
Now, is this something to be printed out, or will they go in to see it?
No, we'll print them out.
Like, and give to, in the report card, or a progress report?
They could, I think they'll also have access to it. They'll probably
Yes, they
a
will
way
have access on the
to
platform
digitally too.
Okay.
Okay. And then they'll have the same words per minute, how they're reading, again, all of their progress monitoring. The triangles here were the benchmark periods, 3 times a year, we're still assessing that. And then how they're doing on their skills, and then how you can help at home. The thing to remember also is Amira screens for dyslexia 3 times a year, as per the law requires. So we are just a lot more efficient with our training. But I did want you to have that, so we're very excited about the change, and I think it's much more parent-friendly than
I
what
have
we were
one more
doing.
question.
Mhm.
Okay, it's free now.
Yes.
Are they going to get us like used to it, and then all of a sudden they're going to start charging us?
So the way the state has determined the list of screeners that we are approved to use, there's a list of 5. Already was actually on the approved list, but for other considerations, we felt like Amira was the right thing to do. That list is going to be will be refreshed every 3 years.
Okay.
And the state, per the law, the state is required to pay for one of them. So this particular 3-year cycle, Amira was at the top of the list.
Okay.
And so they chose to fund the one that sits at the top. I will tell you that Amira at this point is by far and away the better screener option than
Yes.
anything else
Sounds
that's
like
available. And so we're gonna do it for 3 years. We bought it, you guys agreed to purchase it for 4th and 5th grade because we felt it was important to be consistent across the board. And then we also, what you guys approved was the tutoring piece as well. And it came in at half of what we were paying for our Ready Reading.
Yeah, see, like,
Yeah,
the
so
state
it's-
was paying just for the screening part of it.
Correct.
If you want the extra stuff that comes, you gotta pay that part. So we did that plus 4th and 5th grade to kind of make it consistent together.
So
we're-
financially, it was a smart move, but it also, the bigger picture was just getting some classroom
It's more time.
Yeah.
We need
And
time.
that's the bigger goal, so. That's all I have, if you guys have any questions for me. Feel free to reach out at any time with anything, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly.
You're welcome.
All right, I wanted to give you also a little update on our Pevis Online. We had talked about having some online options for our kids this year, and so we've been working on that through the summer. We had, last year, from withdrawals, we had 200 students withdraw to go to homeschool at all grade levels, the majority of which were coming at the high school level. So we were trying to figure out what we want to do and how we want to tailor this online option to kind of capture. We talked about doing it through Pevis. Pevis has flexibility. You don't have to worry about the extracurriculars there. Our staff there is experienced kind of working in a non-traditional setting. So what we've talked about, kind of our target and what we're going to do, we're going to target a couple of audiences. We're going to start with our recently withdrawn kids. So over the next couple of weeks and at the beginning of August, we're going to be reaching out to these kids that have gone to do other things. Some of them may have been at Mountain Ed, some of them are doing stuff at home, some of them, who knows. So we're going to start reaching back. We have their names, we can reach out to them. And we're going to say, hey, we've got this option. If you want to take advantage of it, here's what it is, here's what it looks like, here's how it's going to work. And we're going to start trying to see how many we get back from that. Once we kind of cast out that first net and reel them in, we're going to see how many we've got and determine, okay, do we want to stop right here and let's get these guys started and go from there? If we don't catch that many, then we may start fishing in the next pond, which is, all right, who are some students who are currently enrolled and doing face-to-face school that might want to do online school? Because we've had some kids that have an interest in that. But we really want to start with those recently withdrawn kids. So that's going to be our target goal number one. We're going to start working over the next few weeks and put out some surveys, put out an interest form that essentially says, hey, would you be interested in this, da-da-da-da. And then once we can start contacting kids and having those discussions. Edmentum will be the platform that we used. You guys approved that. That's been our standard platform that we use for high school already. So our teachers are familiar with that, our kids are familiar with that. And so really probably mid-August, once we start getting a number, that's when we'll decide, okay, do we want to seek out some more kids? Or do we have enough, do we catch enough fish in the first net to keep us started at least through the semester and see where we go? So we didn't want to roll out too fast and get too much going and not be able to manage it, but we felt like, let's get some kids back.
Do we have a
and see where
ballpark
they're at.
number? That we're just,
We talked about trying to get between 50 and 100 for the whole group. And we also talked about if we go into the schools and start getting, we don't want to pull more than 10 out of each grade level at a particular school. Like I don't want to decimate North Murray's freshman or senior class or whatever. So like we really want to see how many we get back from those withdrawals. And if we get 50 back there, we may say, okay, let's run it this semester, see how it goes. And then in December, we may say, okay, can we get some more back? We also have kids that are going to be leaving throughout the year, like we may be drawing from them. The main goal is to get some kids back, but also to keep kids from leaving, to at least give them something. So if somebody shows up, at Murray County High School and says, hey, I think I want to withdraw and go to homeschool, we can have a conversation with them and say, well, hey, whoa, why do you want to do that? We want you to stay, da-da-da-da. But then we can also say, we have this online option here, if you would rather transfer to Peebles and do that, and hopefully stop them from going there to start with. So that's going to be our first population to kind of go after, so we're looking forward to that.
Okay, what grades is this just high school?
Start with high school.
High school.
Start with high school. If we see numbers, and we see that we think we can do it, we might move down into the middle school. We talked about 7th and 8th as a possibility, but we really want to get to these withdrawal kids first and see how many we get. So that's going to be our next working project over the next 3 or 4 weeks. So that's kind of where we are there. All right, on to quality workforce, our third reading for our grading policy. So that'll be just a matter of you guys voting to approve that change.
I need a motion that we approve the change to the HA board policy.
Make a motion.
second.
Sheila, Hunter, all in favor? Is approved.
And then we have our personnel packet there, if you'd like to approve that.
I need a motion that we approve the personnel packet as presented.
So moved.
Kelly, Tony, all in favor? It is approved, and we do not need an executive session.
And I don't know if we want to talk about our request to amend the policy. We discussed the information that she gave, but like we need to meet for 2 minutes if you have any questions about our public participation, we can do that real quick if you want to do that. Or if you guys are ready to vote for it, you can vote for it. If you want to amend the policy in that situation, that's up to y'all. But we've got that executive session if we need it.
Yeah.
Anybody need?
If
So,
y'all,
but we do need to approve it.
you have to make a motion to amend the policy, to waive the policy, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 'cause you say
In this
amend the
instance.
policy,
Yeah,
that's
change
like-
it.
That's like big time.
Yeah, waive it.
All right, I need a motion that we waive the policy for the public participation.
Motion.
Conrad,
Second.
Hunter, all in favor? It is approved.
All right, we'll reach back out to them. So we don't need an executive session.
All right, open session. Is there any board discussion? If none, I need a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Brenda.
Quit on drawing,
We